Gardner-Webb up next, Cris Reisert. Hey, Chris, how are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for having us on.
Hey, it's an exciting day as we get ready for football, and we're going to talk about a number of different things. But let's uh, let's wrap up the summer. Although some people are hesitant to do that, some of us still have a little summer left in us. Um, your family, did you able to get away, do some things? What does football coach at Gardner-Webb do to kind of unwind as much as humanly possible during the summer?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's you try and find a little bit of time to get away and kind of rest and relax. And so my whole family, we spent some time down at Lake Norman. It's only about an hour from our house here, and beautiful lake, got a bunch of those. And so we were there, and then my wife and I, our 14th anniversary is July 23rd. So we'll be in Charleston for that to celebrate kind of as a last hurrah. And we get away for our anniversary each year and just kind of be with the two of us. And as a coach's wife, that's not an easy job. And so she holds the fort down and is a tremendous partner in everything that we do. And so it's good to have a little bit of time together before we go and embark upon an awesome journey.
And congratulations on 14. Couple of things I want to talk with you about, just a kind of broad brush. Let's hit on the roster a little bit. What kind of roster
Yeah.
changes did you see in the offseason through the two signing periods, and kind of update us on what this looks like, and then we'll kind of narrow down into some specifics here in a moment.
Yeah, there was a lot of growth, I think, for us as a program, and a lot of that was personnel. We needed to be strategic about who we brought in and who he worked really hard to get to stay. I think that the first thing about our roster is that we retained at a really high rate. We've got 15 guys that have started football games for us, and they're back, and so we're really really excited for that. I think that that's reap rewards when it comes to the continuity of our culture in the offseason, the developmental piece. That's been amazing. In addition, we've been able to go out and get some high level transfers that have come in the spring and added a ton of impact, and then a few others in the summer that have made us stronger as well. I think the biggest difference that I see in our roster is the depth. There's not a position on our football team that we don't have competition at. I don't know that going into the 2024 season you could have said that. Now if you don't practice well, if you don't bring the right mentality and the right attitude and energy each day to your work or your craft, there's a chance you're going to get passed by. And so that I think has created more of an edge within our building that guys understand that every single day matters and every single thing that they do counts.
4-8 last year, 3-5 in the OVC Big South. Take us through that process, through those two signing periods. You said replaced, looked at some other players, moved some, the transitioning of that roster, although it's been in comparison kind of better than some others of your colleagues have had. After that first signing period, do you go and say, okay, we didn't get what we wanted at this position, so we're going to look toward the February signing period? What is your process like with that, as with your staff?
Yeah. So, the last couple of years has been very transfer heavy. That when we got here, I think it was 38 players and one returning starter that we inherited. And so,
Yeah.
you know, if you went the high school route at that point, you wouldn't have a team. And so, we've had to really rely on transfers in the last two cycles, just to sustain a healthy competitive opportunity for us. The 2026 class, so moving into next year, is really the first class that we've been able to recruit the way that you'd want to recruit a high school class. And so it'll be a full high school class, and that'll be our first. And so I'm fired up for that. That's been what we want to be. We want to be a developmental program. We want to be a place where there's transformation in a young person's life, in their journey with Christ and in their journey as a man, in their journey to be elite in everything that they do. That's what we want to be. And that will be kind of where we're at moving forward. In the short term, though, you've got to find a way to be competitive. And so we have relied on transfers, and it has been a pivotal piece of what we've done. And I think the way that we've approached it is you want to have as many guys with you for spring football as you can. And so we try to be very active in that first portal window to make sure that we had as full a roster as we could. The administration was great, giving us the resources and the support to be able to do that. And then as you get into the summer, Now you're looking at, all right, is there a little bit of a hole that maybe we could fill? Are there a couple guys that are impact players that a position of need? We look at it very much as we've got to build a team, not collect talent. And I think there's a difference in that. There's a
Sure.
lot of good players out there. You could go get 8 quarterbacks or go get the right ones. You could go get 15 linemen or get the 10 right ones. And so it's about doing the research and finding the guys that fit and being able to build the best team. And I think we've done a really good job of that.
And I think also speaking to some of these players, particularly I'm going to hit on a few that were nominated players to watch. At running back with Quayshawn Holmes,
Yeah.
a young man that's been in the program for a while. Anthony Lowe is a graduate student. I think those kinds of years of eligibility remaining against them kind of speak to your program and the fact that folks want to stay around.
Yeah, I think yeah, Gardner-Webb's a special place. It is a place where you can truly have a holistic experience. And everyone says that, but it's not true. A big piece of that is the opportunity to grow spiritually, and you can do that here. A big piece of that is development off the field. And I think that our guys, they see that, they notice that, they see our plan, and that's important to us, and that makes them want to stick around. I think that anytime you invest in guys and they know that you care about their hearts and you care about them being great dads and husbands and bosses when they're done, it makes them a lot more likely to want to stick around and have you tell them about how to run a cross route or how to go block a 3 technique, and so we look at it as our job is to take care of our guys and make sure that our relationships are real and genuine. And football is a piece of that. They know that in our building, it's not all roses, gumdrops, and lollipops. You're going to be challenged. You're going to be tested. There's going to be high expectations and standards, and we're going to hold the line on that. But we're going to make sure that we love you as we do it.
What drew you, and you've alluded to it a little bit, Chris, but
Yeah.
what drew you to the Gardner-Webb job?
Yeah, I mean, kind of that. I love that it's a Christian university. We want to be the premier one in the Southeast, and that matters to us. And we want to have a program that cares for every aspect of our guys' lives, and their walk with Christ is a pivotal piece of that. And so we try as a university and as a program to be Christ-centered and to honor and glorify Him in all that we do. And it starts there. So that drew me to it. But I think Gardner-Webb is a hidden gem. I think that the culture of relationships in a small school environment with great student teacher ratio, where guys can come in and be a part of a place that loves them and cares for them. And it has a really true developmental plan for them to improve at every aspect of their life. And you can win here, and it's been done in the past and it'll be done in the future.
I want to talk with you about that off camera, but
Yeah.
I've got some things I want to catch up with you on. Western Carolina, Georgia Tech, the Citadel, and then a long trip to Ohio. Who put that schedule together?
Yeah, it's a bear, huh? No, it's I think we have one of the toughest schedules in the conference, if not the toughest, and certainly in
Yeah.
the country. And so we're gonna get our money's worth, and but in all honesty, like it's great to figure out where we're at. We're gonna get a great I think a firsthand look at where we stand as a football team. We always say let's attack it and chase success. And if we fall short, then we kaizen, we continually improve, and we figure out how to evolve. And so we're going to learn a lot about ourselves heading into week 5, I guess week 6 after a bye week as we go and play for the barbecue bowl. But I'm fired up, for the first 4. I think we got our hands full, but we'll be all right.
Off the top of the show last year, I mentioned the barbecue bowl. So
Yeah.
since you wove it into the conversation, give us some more details for those that maybe aren't familiar with the barbecue bowl.
Yeah, no, it's a rivalry with Charleston Southern, who's also a member of our conference, and a regional thing that we're able to get off the ground. It's a place where the losing team, the president, has to go and serve barbecue to the winning team. And so we won the battle in a great contest last year, and Charleston Southern's president came up. He and his son were awesome, very gracious, and they brought barbecue to the team. We got to spend the evening with him, and so certainly it's a competitive thing, but also a chance to strengthen relationships among two, Christian institutions in the Southeast. And I just think it's something that's worth playing for.
All right, so as I sit just south of Nashville, and I'm from this part of the world, You got to differentiate Carolina barbecue with barbecue. Perhaps we would know it in this part of the world. So go
Sure.
ahead and make that differentiator for us.
Yeah, barbecue in North Carolina is mostly, pork. It's mostly pulled pork, and it's a vinegar-based sauce. And so it takes, I think, some getting used to, but once you get it, it's there's nothing like it.
And we smoke it here where we're from. So go put it out there on the table. And the slaw. We cannot forget the slaw.
You're gonna get a vinegar-based slaw. You get a red slaw, so it's gonna look a little different. You're gonna get some hush puppies to go along with it, and if you're upset after the meal, then there's something wrong with you. It ain't the barbecue.
Absolutely. Cris Reisert, thanks for joining us. Gardner-Webb, the Running Bulldogs. They will open up in Cullowhee at Western Carolina. So, Coach, best of luck to you, and we look forward to seeing you along the route this season.
Thank you so much. Good seeing you guys.